Hey everyone, well, welcome. I'm going to put this on speaker view. There we go. Welcome to the Heat Team call. We are so excited tonight. I am Sandy Tabola, for those of you who don't know me, one of the Heat NMDs, and I have been with this company for a couple decades, and the longer I am with them, the more I just love. I love our mission. I love our team. Our one team, one mission philosophy, I just absolutely love. If you can go ahead and mute yourself, that would be great. And then I am going to not take up any more time because we have an incredible speaker, and I am going to introduce her. I just wanted to say a little bit. I love this woman and her passion. So she graduated from Macalester College in Minnesota with a bachelor's degree in biology, a gifted athlete with many accomplishments. She was a national aerobic champion, and she has won 4 gold medals in aerobics competitions. She was featured in 5 aerobic videos, including one with Olympic gymnast Nadia Comaneci. She brings her athlete mindset and her work ethics, plus her love and passion for health and fitness, to this industry, to our industry, and she is a 100 Club NMD and just has some incredible things to share with us tonight. So I am going to let her, take it away. I mean, I'm going to mute everyone, so you'll have to unmute yourself.
Oh, but you gave me the ability to share my screen, right?
Yes, you should
okay,
have
great.
that.
And I will unmute myself once you mute everybody. Yikes. All right. Hey, thank you for having me on the call tonight. I love sharing with you guys. You know, Chris and Nikki have been such a big part of my life, and I've gotten to know so many of you because of our interaction that I feel like you're family. So I could just go down the list and just say, oh, I remember when we did this together. I remember when we did that together. So I came home from, I went to conference really excited because I went to the Canadian conference first. Were any of you guys at the Canadian conference? Anybody there? It was the first ever Canadian conference, and Jake's got a pretty substantial line in Saskatchewan. And so we went up to support them, and it was really cool to be part of like this new thing happening. I started to get really excited being there, and then went in for an early training. I don't know if any of you were at the Jeff Roberti training on the Wednesday before the conference. Did any of you go to that? That got me super fired up. And then also I have been, I am someone who is a lifelong learner, and I also love to have letters after my name. And so I have been taking a health coaching course for the last year, and some of the education that I've gotten has been phenomenal. And some of it makes me feel like, oh my gosh, this is just like what we get with Juice Plus for not paying $6,000. So that there's that. But I did listen to an amazing presentation by Dan Buettner, and I want to share. I'm going to share my screen because I want to share this presentation with you guys. And let's see, how can I do this? I have to do it from here. Okay, so I want to share this with you because, and it might seem like I'm giving you a health lecture. I'm not. I'm talking about something that permeates our Juice Plus culture. So Dan Buettner was hired by National Geographic and the American Institute on Aging to look at places that they called the blue zones, places in the world where people either lived longer than the world average, or they had more centenarians per capita than other areas, or they had less midlife morbidity. And by that, what I mean is that, you know, how some people start to get really sick in their 50s and 60s and 70s. We have people getting heart disease and that sort of thing. And that's where we spend most of our money is in those years. And so these zones that he was looking for were places that had one of those 3 things in common. And then he later went on with the funding of Melinda and Bill Gates to find 2 more locations. So he's identified 5 naturally occurring blue zones in the world. I'm going to talk about those in just a minute. But what's really cool is that he's now gotten grant money to start communities that already exist in the world, smaller communities. They have to be small enough that they would take on these guidelines, that they are creating blue zones in the world. And what I realized is that we in the Juice Plus community have already created a blue zone. And to be able to share this with our customers it's just huge. It's not just our customers, it's our distributors, it's everybody that we touch. And so I want to just go over this because I think I'm going to get into some money too at the end, so don't be disappointed. But this is really valuable information. So I want you all to take a little quiz right now. Just get out a piece of paper, and you don't have to raise your hand or give anything away on yourself, but I want you to answer these questions honestly, because it's just for you. And I want to preface this by saying that what they've discovered in the Danish twin study that was done back a while back is that only 20% of our longevity has to do with our genetics. Only 20%. The other 80% is all about how we choose to live our life. So if you can say, give yourself a yes, if you get at least 7.5 hours of sleep 5 days a week. So count how many yeses you get. Give yourself a yes if you get 4 honest servings of fruits and vegetables every day, not counting Juice Plus. Give yourself a yes if you've had 3 years of not smoking any substance. No weed, no anything. No smoking. Give yourself a yes if you've never had unprotected sex with a stranger or someone you didn't know very well. Think back to college. Give yourself a yes if you belong to a faith-based community and you show up at least 4 times a month. Give yourself a yes if you have 3 good friends that you like, that you can have a serious conversation with, and that you could call on a bad day and they would care. Give yourself a yes if you get 30 minutes of activity every single day, and that could just be walking. And then lastly, give yourself a yes if in 1 sentence you can write on a page your life meaning. Okay, so tally up your yeses. If you have 3 or now just keep in mind that our capacity is 90 to 92 years. That's the human lifetime capacity. If you win the genetic lottery, you could live to be 100 or more. But 90 to 92 is what we have in us, in our wheelhouse. So if you have 3 or less yeses, you have 76 years of life expectancy with 5 bad years of morbidity, where you're going to spend most of your money. If you have 3 to 6, you're most likely going to live to be 84 years, and you'll only have 3 years of morbidity. And if you have 7 to 8, you will live to be 90 or 92 with only 1 year of morbidity. So a lot of these, I don't know why, like the faith-based community, they're not sure why, but they believe that it's because they share common values, which I believe that even if you're not in a church or a synagogue, I believe that we've created that in our community, and that if you're getting together with our community 4 times a month or more, you're probably already instilling that sense of community in you. So really, really interesting. I also want to share with you that the #1 predictor of how long you'll live is how long you think you will live. That's the #1 predictor. But do you know what the #2 predictor is? It's how many servings of fruits and vegetables you eat. And the Institute for Aging in America has actually come up with Dan, has come up with 30 questions. It's called the Vitality Compass, and it's designed to calculate life expectancy. Within a 10% margin of error, however you answer that question, how many servings of fruits and vegetables you have on a daily basis, you can predict how the other 29 questions will be answered. Is that mind-blowing or what? Are we like in the right place? I get chills when I think about this. So I just want to go into a couple of things about this. So these are the 5 areas that he's identified. The first 3 were Loma Linda, Sardinia, and Okinawa. And Loma Linda, which is the home of all the Seventh-day Adventists, their life expectancy is 10 years longer than the average American. And they live in Orange County, you guys. They have like, you know, Wiener Schnitzel, they have like everything there, but they have a culture that supports them in eating healthy, and their mission is to share healthy eating. That's their ministry is eating healthfully. In Sardinia, they have 10 times more centenarians than per capita than in the US. And in Okinawa, their life expectancy is 85.3 years. So really, the Nicoya Peninsula is another one where the men over 60 are 7 times more likely to reach age 100, et cetera, et cetera. So I just want to highlight some of these habits that people have that we are already instilling in our people. And I cannot get my thing to move. What am I doing wrong? Shoot, you guys, I can't get my, I can't get anything to happen on my screen. Nothing. It's
go back out, Joy. Go back, like unshare.
Okay.
And then redo it.
And then share again. You're so smart.
No, I don't know.
Okay. Because I want you to see this stuff because it's really pretty exciting. It's still not working. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna read the slides to myself because I want to share with you what they are because it's pretty phenomenal. So the secrets that they share, there's these, oh, you know what, I bet I can do it this way. Now I've changed the slides, so I bet I can do it this way. This will work. Okay, so here are these are the inner circles of what, here's Loma Linda up here, Okinawa on the right, and Sardinia over here on the left. And I did a much longer presentation on this at the conference for my group. And sometime if you want me to do a longer presentation, I will, but you can also look up Dan Buettner and just watch his stuff. It's really cool. So, and on Okinawa, here's where all of their things combine. Family, no smoking, plant-based diet, constant moderate physical activity, social engagement, eating legumes, empowered women, sunshine, and gardening. You guys, is that us? Is that freaking us? I mean, that just blows my mind when I see this. It just, I'm just blown away by it. And let's see, then let me see if I can get to the next slide. So if you take this in the 9 things that they're looking at, can you guys see this new pyramid that I have here? Okay, so they move naturally, which, you know, we're all about teaching people to do that, right? We're all, you know, the Shred 10 is all about getting people to move regularly. They have the right outlook. They know their purpose. Are we a mission-driven model or are we a mission-driven model? That's what we do. They know how to downshift. I mean, think of how we party and go to our conferences. We know how to relax. We know how to work hard, but we also know how to play hard. They eat wisely. So in Okinawa, they have an 80% rule, and they actually have a saying. It means hari hichi bu, and it literally means stop eating when you're 80% full. All of the 5 cultures have a plant slant. Now, none of them are vegetarian except for the Seventh-day Adventists, but none of them eat meat more often than 4, 5, 6 times a month. And when they do eat it, it's the size of their palm. All the cultures except for Loma Linda drink wine. And Ikaria in Greece drinks more wine than all the others. They drink an average of 4 glasses a day of wine. Yeah, isn't that crazy? So belonging is really first. So this is really cool. They put family first. And what I love about this is they talk about intergenerational living and how there's something called the grandmother effect. And it's not that the grandmother does better, it's that the kids do better. The grandchildren do better when they have older people living either in their home or near them. And we have that in the Juice Plus community, don't we? I think about Elsa Billman and who's the other, we've got these women that are, you know, in their 80s, approaching 90, that are still working with us, that are giving us their wisdom. And I just think it's so great. And then the idea that we can have our families join our businesses. I love having Jake work with me and having my husband work with me. So we have the ability to put family first because of this business. How many of us have been able to work our lives completely around our kids because of this business? And we have a sense of belonging. In Okinawa, when the kids are 5 years old, they're put into a group, well, 3 to 5, they're put into a group with 5 to 6 other kids, and those are their friends for life. When Dan went there, he met women who had been friends for 102 years. And they still got together every night and drank sake and talked about, you know, who the boy back in 1940 liked better. It's just really crazy. And we have that, you guys. I mean, I think about when Jake got married, over 30% of her invite list were Juice Plus people. And we really have that. And we have this feeling of right tribe. So we're already providing this, you know, right in our culture. So those, the similarities to our Juice Plus community, when I was listening to this, I was out for a run and I just had to stop and call someone because the hair on the back of my arm stood up because I'm like, oh my gosh, we have created this. We've created a blue zone, and I would love to see if Dan would like interview our community, because we're more than a small community. These communities that he was looking at are smaller communities. We have a really big community, but we have created a blue zone, in my estimation. I mean, just we look at the details. Like, this is us. This is what we're teaching our customers. This is what we're teaching our team. This is what we're sharing with our team. And it's just, I'm blown away by it. So lastly, we move into Jay Martin's famous thing that we make a living by making a difference, or we do well by doing good. And I find this absolutely fascinating, that we are creating a blue zone and we're creating income by doing it. So one of the things that happened at the pre-training that we did with Jeff Roberti is that there was a tax expert there, and she was talking about how, because, you know, we get people that get involved in our business and they really just want to save the world, right? And they don't have 2 customers. But they've joined our business because they want the community, and that's awesome. We love them whether they do a little bit or a lot. Thank you, Wendy Campbell, for that. So, but what this tax woman was saying, and she's written a book called Less Taxing, More Relaxing. And she said that even if you don't make a dime in your network marketing business, that you have a tax advantage. So huge reason to be recruiting your customers or your, you know, into our business, because they have a tremendous tax advantage. In fact, somebody just did this, and they ended up, I think it was Danny Martinelli on my team. They ended up saving like $9,000 a year in taxes because of her husband being signed up as a distributor, even though he's got a couple customers, and he's got a regular job that, you know, he owned anyway. So just by him having a home-based business saved them, I believe she said it was $8,000 to $9,000 a year, which is huge. But this next piece I want to show you, this has been floating around for a long time. We've shown it a lot, but Casey Schloss kind of resurrected it in Kansas. And one of my NMDs, Ali Schneider and AJ Majors, got really excited about it and wanted to share it. And they did a whole training on this. Now, the big thing that I want to point out about this sheet is that we have a lot of people in our business that make $100, $200, $300, and $500 a month, right? We even have a lot of people that make $1,000. But if you look over on the other side, it's like having that kind of interest. But do you know anywhere that you can earn 5% interest? If you do, I'd like to know, please. Because I don't know of anywhere that you can make, you know, we invest in the stock market, but you don't make a 5% return on that. And there's no bank account that will pay you. So, but even if you did, if you were going to make an extra $500 a month, which we have tons of people that do that, you'd have to invest $120,000 a year. Not a year. You'd have to have $120,000 that you could put into a bank account and just let sit there, that you never needed to touch. And it would probably be more like $240,000, because even getting 2.5%, you're going to be doing pretty well. So these numbers are really kind of staggering when you talk about, I mean, if you ask anybody in our business, unless they're really cranking right now for one reason or another, there are very few people working full-time hours at this job. Anybody on this call working full-time hours? Are you? You working 40 hours a week, Lisa?
Right now I am.
Really?
I'm doing a lot, but
I'm doing a lot
I don't
too,
always, and I haven't always. I haven't always.
I'm doing a lot right now, but it's hard for me to put 40 hours a week into just doing this business, because there's always things like playing tennis or putting on Friendsgivings, or, you know, something always seems to, you know, like maybe I have a week of putting in more than 40 hours, you know, like last week when Mitra was here, I was jamming. But to actually sit down at my desk for 8 hours a day and be dialing and smiling, I don't know that I've ever done that, and I'm a 100 Club National Marketing Director.
Well, I don't do 40 hours like that, but it's it's bookend. Events. Right now it's busy, but it won't be.
So Chris Cotton does a really great training on tracking what you're actually spending your time doing. I'm not saying you're not, Lisa, but if you just want to track what you're doing, and if you even want to talk to me about that, you know, the high payoff activities, because it is easy to kind of grind yourself into the ground with stuff that isn't what pays you.
That's right. That's right.
That's really easy to do. So how am I doing on time? I'm doing okay. Okay. So the last piece that I got, so this piece is super exciting for me to recruit people into my business, to draw. And the reason that it's so exciting is that I want to draw them into the community that is our Blue Zone. Right? I want them, and they might not get in, and this next piece will all make sense to you. This will wrap a bow around what I'm talking about. So this last piece, a lot of you have heard of before. I had too, but it never made sense to me until I heard Sherry Tree speak. How many of you have heard her speak? Okay, so I got introduced to this years ago, and I said, this is one of those stupid color-coded things I'm not ever gonna get interested in. And I wish they didn't actually have the colors on the cards. So for those of you who don't know what this is called Bank Code. And it's based on a book by Sherry Tree, that's her real name, called Why People Buy. And she had been involved in network marketing and had no success at all. And she started to realize that she was talking to people from her language, the way that she spoke. And that because she was only speaking to people from the way that she spoke, she was missing out on a lot of other people. So if you haven't done this quiz, I recommend that you do it. You can go to, I actually have a site. It's mybankcode.com/Jake and Joy. You can just go to My Bank Code. You'll get into there. If you get into my distribution list, I'm not going to go after you because I'm not interested in you and my business. so you don't have to worry about me recruiting you because you're already recruited. But you can take this really quick test. You can also buy these cards. And it's really easy to hand these cards to someone and say, I'd like you to take a look at these cards. I'd like you to put them into order of what's most important to you to what's least important to you. This will help me to serve you better, and it's going to save us both a lot of time. So in saying it that way, we've spoken to all 4 of these languages. Can you not see that, Sandy? I wish I could make this be larger. Let me see if I can. I don't know what happened. I've never had a problem sharing my screen before. Does that work better? Can you see that better now? Okay. So this has been a game changer for me since I took it on, because I saw that it wasn't just a color, and please don't use the colors, use the letters, because that's what's going to speak to you. In fact, I've started to put my distributors and customers' letters after their name in my phone, so I remember who they are. I was surprised when I did this test. A and K were as high for me. They were equal to me. So, but I know that I'm more of an action. Nurturing was number 3, and blueprint I'm absolute last at. You know, the point of these cards is not so that you get to analyze your belly button. The point of these cards is so that you can learn how to speak to the people that you're trying to serve, and to see where you're weak and bring those levels up. So I'm a weak blueprint. That's an area that I really need to bring up, so that I not just so I can speak to blueprints, but so I also don't have chaos in my life. Because if you saw my office right now, which you're not seeing any of right now, you're just seeing you're not even seeing my face. I don't know how to get me out of, oh, here we go, start video. Yeah. So my office is it's always on my list of things that I'm going to do, that I'm going to get to my office. But I recommend that you start to look at these values, and that you start to learn to speak the language of these cards, because blueprints are all about security. They don't want to take any risks. So if they know that our business doesn't have any risk attached to it, it's $50 and they can get that back, that's going to be very interesting to them. If they know that there's a system that they can follow step by step, the Freedom Revolution, it's going to make a big difference for them. If they're action oriented, they're going to want to know that there's no ceiling on how much money they can make, and they want to know about the fancy people and the 39 Club dinners and the retreats and the Elton Awards and all of the excitement that comes along, the fun that comes along with being part of our business. If they're nurturers, they're going to want to know how much we care about them and how much we're on a mission to save the world. And just FYI, most people that join our business are nurturers. So our job is to get them to bring their action up. Knowledge, so when you talk to a knowledge person, they're going to want to know all the ins and outs of the studies. How many studies were done on lung health? How many studies were done? What's the p-value on the studies? How do polyphenols, how does Juice Plus cause the polyphenols in our body to actually produce more antioxidants? They're going to want to know all that stuff. So if you can know who it is that you're talking to and really talk to that language that they're talking to, you're going to recruit more people. So whatever your income level is right now, you might want to jot that down. If you're making $1,000 a month, what if you could triple that just by learning the other 3 languages? Because you're already good at one language. What if you could learn the other 3? Do you like when I was shocked when I took the amount of money that I make right now and tripled it. And I was just like, excuse me, but holy shit, this is crazy. So I am learning these languages. I don't think that you need to go take their courses. I think the book is worth reading. It's a $20 PDF download. But I don't think that you need to go out and become a trainer for them or do any of that stuff. That's just another side, distraction. But learning to speak these codes, which you can do very easily with her PDF, highly recommended. Don't get distracted by bright, shiny objects and start like, oh, I need to become a trainer for them and I need to take these courses and you don't need to do any of that. Having a set of the cards is kind of a good idea. I actually, when I'm doing a Zoom call with a prospect now, I pull that screen up and I do it with them right on screen. So it's like, before we even get started, can you just take a look at these cards, put them in the order of what's most important to you, from most important to least important. This will let me serve you better, and it'll save us both a lot of time. So I do that in a 15-minute Zoom call, because that's how long my Zoom calls are. I don't want to ever do anything longer than that. So anyway, I've got 1 minute left. Are there any questions? You have to unmute yourself, Sandy.
Got it. Thank you so much. This is amazing. What was the name of the book?
Which book? The Bank Code?
Uh-huh.
Why they buy. Why they buy.
Okay.
And you can go to her website, bankcode.com. Don't get distracted by all the shiny objects. Just buy the $20 PDF or the $35 book or whatever it is, $29. Get the cards if you want. They're $20. They're worth having. And just start using this, but just like be very straightforward about it. Yeah. It's so easy to get easily drawn in by all these things.
Mm-hmm. But I love that how you just simply correlated the blue zones to our community, and that's,
well, it also ties into the whole Bank Code thing, because you see that we bring in people that want community. Like predominantly we bring in people that want community.
Right.
And we're already doing that. Yeah. So,
Does
very
anyone
cool.
have a question for Joy?
That was awesome, Joy.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me rant.
You know, I just so appreciate, Joy, how relevant you keep yourself. All these years, all the success you've had, you keep showing up, you keep growing yourself so that you can continue to grow and serve your team and help more people and make a bigger impact. So you know how much I love you, and I'm always in awe of how you're always leveling up.
Thank you, Lisa. You're so sweet. Awesome. All right, you guys, thank you for having me tonight. I love getting on a soapbox.
Okay, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great job.
Great job.
Say goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, you guys.
Bye, Joy. Thanks.
Thanks so much.